Hey everyone, it is late in the evening here on March the 24th, and I'm about a week behind, but things have been busy, as they always are on the farm. That's why it's late in the evening. It's 8:30ish, dark outside. We just got back inside from running out. We ate supper and then went out to take care of a couple of small things, and now I'm back inside with the project that I was doing. So I thought I would bring you along for it and show you what we got going on and just how we do this and why we do it the way we do it. So the project this evening is for our greenhouse number 4. So we got greenhouse 1, and 2, which are our first 2 original greenhouses we bought. Now, we had made some DIY greenhouses before then, but these are bought greenhouses. So both of those 2 are 12.5 by 24.5 feet long, and we bought them at the same time, but we put up one year and one the next year. Could have got them both in 1 year, but other things going on, we didn't make them a priority in our life, and one of them sat on the ground for a year. So them are twin wall polycarbonate greenhouses. So it's not just plastic sheeting, it's actually polycarbonate. They've got 6 roof vents in each one, and they have a door that opens, double door that opens on the end, and one of them opens like a French door so you can ventilate it without letting vermin in. And I have added fans to the one greenhouse, but I have not to the other one yet. Now they come with mechanical openers and automatic openers. The automatic openers are great, but they're also a little bit aggravating. So, if you got time, the mechanical openers are amazing. If you don't, the automatic openers are a great way to go. So anyway, that's 1 and 2. Number 3 is still not finished. We keep getting these new ones and keep putting the used one on the back burner. I'm hoping this year, we got plans to work on it tomorrow if the weather holds out. I'm hoping this year is the year that it is up and running so we can use it next year for a propagation house. This year it'll be heirloom tomatoes. Wild Boar Farm varieties primarily, as a matter of fact. And then Greenhouse 4 is our first NRCS high tunnel grant. We paid a lot of money for that one out of pocket before they adjusted the grant, and so, but it's what we needed for our organic certification. It has steel end walls, and it's all steel tubing. There's no wood touching the ground nowhere. It's got 6-foot sidewalls, and it's on a 4-foot spacing, and it's a 30 by 72. So that's the one we're talking about right now. We're not talking about the new one that's just like it, that's a 30 by 96. We're talking about the 30 by 72 that for the last 2 seasons we have grown tomatoes in. This year, and we've grown some brassicas and stuff in it too, but that's not in lettuce. But this year we're going into cucumbers in there. So we are putting out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 varieties of cucumbers, and I will also plant some greenhouse bell peppers in there. So I'll show you a layout and show you what we're doing, and then I'll show you how we do it, at least how we get started doing it. Okay, so I graph everything out. This is my greenhouse laid out. On this particular legend, each little square is 1 foot. So I've got a double row of peppers. Now I could have put more peppers up this way, but my irrigation is right here, so it makes it a hindrance to get to my irrigation. So leaving 3.5, 4 foot gives me the ability to walk in here to my irrigation. And so this is a double staggered row on a 2-foot spacing for greenhouse bell peppers, and each of these will be pruned to probably a 3-tier system, and we'll have a total of 68 bell peppers. Now, while I can get down this side, most of my harvesting will be done from this side. We'll reach through and do our harvesting and pruning as much as we can. So cucumbers, all except for, and we'll discuss that in a minute, all the cucumbers are on a 1 foot spacing in here. I started to do 2 foot, and then I thought about 18 inches, and I decided I'm going to push this to 1 foot. So we're going to see what we can do. I'm going to try to stay on top of this and keep them pruned. But we're doing our mini-me's, and I just sowed the mini-me's. They're actually over there already watered, and so we're moving on from there. So the mini-me's are 50 days to maturity, and then we're doing Corinthos. That's a popular one for us. That's 48 days to maturity. I would have grown more of these, but we opted not to buy cucumber seeds this year because, well, we bought some, but we opted not to buy Corinto because we had some and we were trying to save money. And then I've got a whole roll of sashimi, and that's a 50-day to maturity Japanese variety. Oh yeah, by the way, Mini-Me is a miniature tender English cucumber, similar to a Bait Alpha, but it's a small snacking cucumber. And so this Japanese cucumber, I have got 67 of, and that's what it's going to be on all of these except for these last two. So the Japanese is an 8 to 12 inch. We will probably pick those between 8 and 10 because they're more tender at that smaller size, and my customers will pay for the tenderness. That I can get as much out of a 10-inch cucumber as I can a 12-inch cucumber. So it's just they would rather have the more tender cucumber. So between 8 and 10 is when they'll come off the vine, unless we just miss one. Piccolino, we've grown this for a few years. It's more of a snacking. It's a little bigger than the Mini-Me. If I remember right, Mini-Me is 3 to 4 inches. Piccolino, same days to maturity, 50 days to maturity on all these, is a similar one, but it's a 4 to 5 inch cucumber. So it's still small, quite small. And then we have Unagi. Unagi is I think if I remember right, don't hold me to this, that should be a cross between an Asian and a European cucumber, if I remember right. And as you see, it's a 9 to 11 inch. So it's going to be a very similar size to sashimi. We can market them side by side, probably for the exact same price tag. So, which makes life easy. And then Excelsior is a 50-day to maturity, and that is a greenhouse pickling cucumber. All of these are greenhouse varieties. Excelsior is that standard pickler. And so we're doing them because I let them go a little bit wilder on a 2 foot staggered spacing. So they're very similar to the peppers, but they are on a 2 foot staggered spacing, 50 days to maturity. And we'll harvest off of all these cucumbers for quite a while in the greenhouse. Again, there's the overview. If you want to take a look at it for yours, you want to rewind and pause this to get a good look at it, whatever you need to do. And we'll be able to harvest off of these for quite a while. And then what we will do is when they start to get closer to the end of their game, because cucumbers will fizzle out, we will have replacement cucumbers already sown and ready to transplant, because we transplant our cucumbers, we don't direct seed. And that way I can go in and pull out a roll, put a roll of cucumbers in, and then I can wait a week and I can pull out another roll and put in a roll of cucumbers. And then we can wait probably 2 weeks, and then we'll go ahead and pull out probably 2 more rolls and put 2 rolls in at the same time. Or we can do it week by week, either way. But that way we don't jerk out all of our cucumber production at one time, but yet we should be able to push cucumber production if we don't have an early hard winter. We should be able to push cucumber production probably up until close to Thanksgiving, maybe even Christmas if it was like last year. Last year we easily could have made it to Christmas with minimal amounts of heat. Now some of these varieties like a lot more heat, so I won't try to grow those a second crop of some of these. But we got another variety that the video just uploaded for just today, as a matter of fact, that where we planted our early variety that's already in the ground, and that is our Socrates. So Socrates is already in the greenhouse, and up and going, and we'll need minimal heat on that to keep it going. Same thing in the fall. I'll need minimal heat to grow that crop through Thanksgiving and Christmas, and we won't run the whole greenhouse full of cucumbers. So once we get closer to the end of the season, that greenhouse will get replanted in other crops such as lettuce and cabbage and stuff that'll start taking over the greenhouse, so that when we pull the last couple of rolls of cucumbers out, that greenhouse is already taken over with some type of a brassica or greens or mustards or spinach or something like that. There'll be something in there that we haven't planned yet. That'll be a succession crop. They'll also help clean the soil. Brassicas will help clean the soil from tomatoes and eggplants and cucumbers and so forth. Because next year, that's the importance of having this brassica and greens in there. Next year, we'll put tomatoes back in this house more than likely. And by doing that, with the succession crop, we'll be able to keep everything working appropriately. And Miss Tiffany she's been outside working. And so here's my tray. These are a 72 cell deep. And if I was going to leave these cucumbers in here a long time, that would not be big enough. I would probably use something like this, which is a 36. So it's exactly half as many cells, but about double the volume. But I would probably use that if they were going to be in here a long time. But they won't. And here is our potting mix that we're working with. This is what we'll plant these directly into, so they can start feeding on the... I wouldn't do this on a tomato seed, but I can do this on... And you can do it on tomato seed, but I definitely will do this on my cucumbers. So, we filled our tray with our potting mix. And just set it right down in there and use my hand to put it in. And then we set another tray on top of it. And we can do that right there. And get them ready for us to kind of drop the seeds in each hole. Now, this one here was a little soft, you can tell, them two right there. So, I'll just get... Oh, it's not that big of a deal, but I like for it to be right. So I'll just add a little bit of soil to those. And we got one more back there. And then we'll move to our next variety. You can see I've got me a book to keep listed on what date and so forth that I did this on. And so I keep my seeds stored. And they go into a storage container and go away. So our next one is going to be the piccolinos. So you can see I've got 75 seeds. And this is an organic Johnny's Greenhouse hybrid variety. Now, hybrid does not mean GMO. Hybrid means hybrid, which just means that it's a cross. So now, guys, I don't have a camera operator, so you're not going to get to see me drop all these seeds in, but I will let you... Actually, you know, I might be talented enough for this. Let's see. This is my little bowl that I use for brassica seeds and stuff like that. But if I'm going to operate the camera, I'm probably going to need to use my hand. And so we'll just reach in and we'll get a couple of seeds. I usually get a couple. And we are going to place those right as close to the center of the cell. Don't have to be perfect, but to get it closer to the center of the cell, it's going to do better. Not necessary. See, now I dropped two in there, and I'm not going to do that. I'll go back and pick it up. These greenhouse seeds are expensive. We don't want to waste any. And even though I don't need this whole tray, And yes, technically this would be what you'd classify as waste. I will sow this whole tray, but it's not for the reason you're thinking. Or at least probably not. I will sow this whole tray because I don't want to waste all that premium space in that greenhouse. I don't want to end up not having enough plants if all of these don't germinate. The Socrates that we just sowed, and those were fresh seeds. They, I think we had 47 out of a tray of 50 that germinated. Maybe it was 46. I don't remember off the top of my head. And while that is great, if I had needed all 50 of those, I wouldn't have had them. Thankfully, I didn't need all 50. And that's why I sowed the whole tray, was because I wanted to be sure I had enough. And I actually ended up with one extra plant. And one extra plant is great. That's not that much waste. And some stuff we buy extra seeds when we buy it from year to year. And some things we buy just exactly what we need so we don't have to store. Pepper seeds, we save a lot of our own, but some of the stuff we do buy because it's easy enough to get a hold of, but a lot of our peppers are not easy to buy. So if I buy a pepper seed, say I add a new variety from Johnny's. Say Johnny's picks up a new variety. Often, though, it's somewhere like Seed Savers that we get some organic seeds from that will pick up an old heirloom breed that we don't have and we want. And so when I buy those that first year, I will go ahead and buy enough to do 2 or 3 seasons if they have a larger package available. They don't always. Sometimes they only sell the small packs. And that way, if I have trouble with saving seeds the first year, things don't go as well as I wanted them to, then when I do so, I don't have to freak out the next year because I only got a handful of seeds. And then I've got enough to sow again next year and try to save seeds, because saving seeds don't always work. Sometimes you have a plant that dies that you're saving seeds from. Sometimes a critter can get into your plant that you're saving, because we've got to isolate the ones we're saving from. Sometimes a critter gets in there. And sometimes you have a plant die. And sometimes you save seeds. And I'm sowing 2 extras here, guys, in these. That's what I got left. That's all of them. And so, actually 3 extra. There's one laying over there. So we'll sow those 3 extra. Just leave them in there. But so this is how we cover them. I'll just go across through here with some soil in my hand. We're not looking to pack it in. Just lightly covering, but I am covering. Cucumber seed I will cover with a 1/4 to a 1/2 inch of soil. Some other stuff you don't even cover, so you want to look at it as to what you are doing. Do something like that, guys. That is all it takes. Be careful that you got your seeds down in there far enough that if you rub soil across, see how that one's sticking up a little bit? Just shove that down. That way when I rub soil across through here, I don't pick that seed up and move it to another chamber. I want it to be right where it's supposed to be in that cell, not where it thought it was going to end up. Sorry about the camera, but I'm having to do this myself. I don't have my camera stand and I don't have a helper, so. Guys, it's as simple as that. You can do it faster if you got 2 hands. You can do it faster if you're at a bench, but I'm inside right now, so I'm at a table. And there we are. Now I will take plant tags, write the variety on it and the date that I seeded it, and stick one. I'll actually stick 2 in this tray. It's all one variety, but I'll stick 2 tags in it. And guys, the 2 tags is just for a surety. We don't want to see a tag get lost and then we don't know what the tray is. Yeah, we'd figure it out eventually, but I'd like to know. And we use Sharpies. This is the industrial grade. We contacted Sharpie themselves, and they said this is the most permanent marker they make. Not any of the other ones, the industrial grade. So we buy these by the box. I think it's roughly 100 markers, and they'll last us about 4 years, 3 to 4 years. We're about out. Next year we got to buy them. So, and we use these for fruit trees when we graft them. We use them for plant markers. We use them for shipping scion wood. We use them for labeling bags for scion wood and labeling pepper bags and so many things it's not even funny. And they do a good job. We're really happy with them. They work. And so guys, the next thing for this to do will be watering this, and then Tiffany will take them to her germination room because mine is full. Which mine was not supposed to be for the cucumbers. Mine is primarily for our peppers. And it is full. It's about time to give y'all another tour of that. We're in the middle of up-potting peppers, but I had to stop to do these cucumbers. So, guys, I hope you liked the video. Be sure to like and subscribe. Share this with friends. Feel free to leave comments below talking about your favorite cucumbers, what you think, and so forth. Now, I will probably, just so you know, we have plans to grow some outside cucumbers also. You would think that with this many cucumbers, we don't need any. But we have a few varieties that we like to grow outside that won't do well in the greenhouse. So, like, for prime example, a lemon cucumber. And dragon's egg. And sikkim. Sikkim is an Asian stir-fry cucumber. And salt and pepper. And then we'll probably grow a outside pickling cucumber also. But that's a whole nother video. Thanks for watching. Remember, go up there, subscribe, click the like button, share. Thank you.